Hello and welcome, Chef Pennington here in Austin, Texas. So here's what happened. I woke up on Saturday morning, I got on Instagram and I found this. I found a picanha, which is a famous cut from Brazil, and it just looked so good I wanted to cook it. So I went to Central Market and I tried to find it. And what I ended up coming home with was a prime USDA top sirloin that still had the fat cap on it, which is very traditional to the picanha. So I got home, started thinking about how to cook it. We'll get into that in just a moment. But the end result, very cool, ended up with beef jerky. We're not going to use a dehydrator, which is even cooler. This is a very simple way of doing this. And who doesn't love roast beef? Like sliced roast beef on a good sandwich? We're doing that too, on the way to making beef jerky. This is very cool. So let's get started. If this is the first time you guys are visiting, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new content. And let's get started. Sirloin, such a flavorful cut of meat when it comes to different parts of the cow. And today we're going to do something special with it. We are going to start by salting it. We're going to cure it. We're going to put that little bit of salt flavor, if you will, on the very outside of the meat. And then we're going to do sous vide. Now, if you don't have a sous vide, that's all right. Hold on a second. There's other ways of doing this. But we're going to start by salting this 20 minutes. And when you sous vide cook, and if you were to add the salt last minute, put it in the bag and start cooking, it often ends up too salty. The salt flavor permeates all the way through it because sous vide cooking usually takes a little while. This gets rid of that problem. And if you think about it, whenever you have roast beef, there's that little bit of saltiness that runs through it like it's been cured. And I'm telling you, the flavor here is wonderful. So we're going to get some thyme into a bag. Now, y'all could use a food saver and suck all the air out of it and seal it. I think that's just extra work. I really enjoy using these bags. They seal up really easy, and I've had great success with them. Just make sure you don't buy the cheapest ones. And here we go. I love minced garlic in a jar. It works. There's something called allicin and allium. There are phytochemicals that develop whenever you chop garlic up and expose it to air for a while. And that's what happens when those little cans are already chopped up. So very healthy. So get as much as you like or as little. Now the red pepper flakes here, I didn't really notice the flavor came through. So next time I would definitely add more than just a little pinch. And when we're doing beef, you got to have the pepper, unless you don't like pepper, of course. But this is a very mildly, you might say, seasoned steak, even though we had the salt and all the flavor. At the end, it's going to taste like the best beef. It is beef forward and not all the other stuff that we're doing to it. So now we're going to seal up the bag. We're cooking at 130 degrees to start out, which is essentially medium-ish, medium rare, more medium, you might say, for cooking a steak. And the air comes out really simple, real easy, and those bags don't cost much. Those, the food saver bags, they cost a little bit. And the butter, got to have the butter when you're sous videing. I love that part of it. It's just, this was cool. I went out, I got the steak. I didn't know exactly what was going to be, and the end game was going to be. I got home, I was like, let's sous vide this. A lot of good things happen sous videing. So we went for 24 hours. This is exactly, this is longer than 24 hours, but 24 hours is the number we're going for. I think I went closer to 30 here. That's the beauty of sous vide. You get a little bit of time. So 8 hours at 130, and then I dropped it down to 125 for the remaining time. And that little bit of a reduction in temperature is like a really long resting of the meat. It works wonderful. And look at that. It almost looks like pastrami. The color is just gorgeous. It did remind me of the picanha. Like you can see right there, they look very similar. And it's ready to eat. Now, going to the next level, we're going to refrigerate it for 8 hours, okay? And then we slice it really thin, and we have roast beef. Look at that. I mean, that's beautiful. It's so tender. It's just some of the best I've ever had. So making the beef jerky, you're going to let it go uncovered overnight. So it's drying out. That's what we do when we use a dehydrator. It's pulling the moisture out. Well, if we're using the coldness in the refrigerator to do this. So we flipped it all over the next day and let it go the rest of the way. So it's a 2-day, 3-day process. But look right here. You're going to see how much this is like beef jerky, but it's way more tender. Those that don't like beef jerky because they feel like they're chewing on it for an hour, this is not that. This is wonderful. Look at that. And you can see that the texture on the edges is just like, it's like beef jerky. It is beef jerky. We just didn't have to use a dehydrator. We used 3 days to our advantage, and we ended up with beautiful roast beef and beef jerky. So cool. I'd hope for y'all to stick around. Go ahead and check out all of our social media links below. Please subscribe while you're here. Would very much appreciate that, and hit the bell so we post new content. And here's some other posts y'all can check out. And y'all have the best. Take care.